What's up, gang? Today I'm going to do an unplanned follow-up to my most recent, not my most recent video, but my most recent Dr. Dre video, 2 videos back, Dre Day, Everybody Extending, because I kind of slept on this record, which a couple of you guys hit me up on. Somebody tweeted me on Twitter, and somebody especially actually hooked me up with a UK-only double disc set that I absolutely have to talk about, because I sort of talked about Dre Day being the only key, essential, absolute must-have 12-inch. I mean, I did sort of mention, the Nothing But a G thing, freestyle remix and stuff in the last video, but there's actually more than that if you really, this particular double 12-inch is really sweet. So starting with record number 1, Nothing But a G thing, again, I did mention in my last video that there was a US 12-inch with the freestyle remix and the club mix on that, and these are on here as well. The only thing this is missing, actually, this is missing one thing technically, and that's the Nigga With a Gun track, but that's on the LP. It's on the Chronic album, and all was on the 12-inch was the LP version. There's no instrumental, no nothing, so you're really not missing out not having that. Instead, this has a bunch of 12-inch exclusive stuff, which is much more key. And like I said, some stuff from the US 12-inch, and also some exclusive stuff, so let's break it down right now. Record 1. Okay, this does have the album version. It also has a radio edit. Who cares? It has the club mix, though, which is on the US 12-inch, but let's talk about that, because it's not just, sometimes the club mix is just like, an extra 5 seconds of instrumental or something, but this is substantially different. The club mix is kind of cool. It's actually not my favorite. It actually relates more to another track I'm going to talk about in a minute, but basically what it is the same vocals and everything as the original Nothing But G thing, but over a more kind of stripped-down hardcore beat, which in a way sounds good, but honestly, the way that the lyrics and the play-by-play between Snoop and Dre on Nothing But G thing work, how they're kind of half singing, half the lyrics, and every kind of line, it's not really about their the cleverness of the lyrics, so much as it is about the way they're delivering it, and the sort of the sing-songy kind of styles and stuff. And that is definitely crafted to match the album version, so it doesn't quite blend as well with the club mix. So it's a cool alternate mix. And in ways, sometimes you could say the instrumental is actually a little better, a little cooler, but it just doesn't mesh as well. So I think almost everybody would probably prefer the album version. But that ties into then the freestyle mix, which again is also on the US version. This one is now on record number 2. It's the only Nothing But G thing on record number 2. And this is, as the title implies, where the lyrics are different and they're much more kind of freestyling. It's mostly Snoop Dogg. Dr. Dre doesn't really rap on here, but the Dog Pound do get on here. Both Daz and Corrupt, they have verses on here, but it's mostly Snoop, and it's really much more of a freestyle flow. I mean, it might be somewhat written, but definitely has a way more kick-back, lenient kind of style and feel to it all. It's probably at least half off the head, if not all of it, and it basically uses the club instrumental, so it matches with the more raw, hardcore, broken down kind of version. It does also have some differences, like this has a UFO sample that kind of comes into it, which is not on the club mix, and that sounds dope. So that makes this even better. So the club mix is really just sort of like a halfway bridge in between the album version and the freestyle version, which is really cool. So okay, then back to record number 1, you got the LP version, fine, good to have on the 12-inch, and a radio edit of Let Me Ride, whatever. But then you've got the Redeye mix, and this is definitely a UK exclusive remix. It's actually remixed in London by some London producer, so it's totally a UK only 12-inch thing. But with that said, sometimes you think of sort of the UK remixes like those awful kind of clubland remixes and stuff like that, which are pretty whack, which are UK exclusives. You're like, because if you look at this, guys, you'd be like, oh, all these rap 12-inches like have these exclusive UK remixes. Oh, I got to get all these down. And then you start hearing them, you're like, oh, most of these are kind of garbage. This isn't garbage. This is pretty dope. It's definitely not as solid as Dr. Dre's production. Dr. Dre's versions, both the freestyle mix, that instrumental, and the club mix and the original version, all outshine the Redeye mix for sure. But this is a pretty cool, kind of dark, kind of jazzy, kind of cool instrumental, which definitely stands on its own. Certainly if you hadn't compared it to, if you just heard this first without somehow managing to go through your whole life without hearing the original version of Nothing But a G thing, then you would definitely like it. It would definitely be dope. It's just, it doesn't really hang up to the other ones. But when you've played Nothing But a G thing like thousands and thousands of times and it's totally played out and you're getting kind of sick of it, then this is definitely cool to have a remix like this to breathe some new life into it. Still, though, that's definitely one of the more forgettable ones. The freestyle Nothing But G thing is the first essential remix, and then the second one comes up on record number 2. It's the Let Me Ride extended remix. And now we talked about, of course, extended versions on the Dre Day and how some of them are legit and how some of them are just the instrumental stuck on the end and sort of a faux extended mix. This is legit. First of all, it basically plays out almost like the album version. Like the first 5 minutes of it are basically the album version. Then a whole new verse at the end. And then, like this mix is 11 minutes, over 11 minutes long. So then, after the new mix, then you get this crazy stuff where the beat kind of rides, and Jewel is singing over it, and it, just kind of blows out more, and there's a lot more live instrumentation on it. And then at the end, it gets really crazy, and Dr. Dre comes on, he's like, this is the part you gotta listen to when you're high, and you do. That's really kind of the way to appreciate it, because it really kind of bugs out. Definitely in a pure P-Funk Parliament kind of, obviously, this is already heavily using Parliament P-Funk stuff. Let Me Ride is largely based on a big sample, but this really ties in, feels like a genuine, Parliament kind of record with a hip-hop edge to it, of course, because it's still got the drums and stuff like that. But this is a really cool extended remix. Especially, maybe I could see you wanting to turn it off around the 8-minute mark, but this is still, absolutely the first 8 minutes are killer, must have, even better than the album version. And then after that, if you want to let it keep going or not, is depending how in the groove with the song you are. And then the only other thing on here is the Let Me Ride LP mix, which again, good to have. What this is missing, besides the Nigga With A Gun track, are the instrumentals. So that's one thing you might want to, especially if you're a DJ, might want to still go back and pick up the US original 12 inches for. And plus, the original US 12 inch is more of a collector's item, because that's, what Dre actually put out first. That's like the legit official version. But this double 12 inch, these are 45s by the way, but this UK set is really sweet. Like I said, you could pick up a lot of this stuff on US 12 inches, especially if you start collecting promos and stuff like that. You can get most of these remixes. You can't get the Redeye mix, though. And you'd have to buy more than one 12 inch, because the Let Me Ride is on a separate one from the G-Thing remixes and stuff like that. There were some represses in more recent years. Death Row put out something in 2006 and all, because again, some of the Dr. Dre remixes were like promo-only kind of stuff. I think Let Me Ride might have been promo-only. I'm not sure about that, the extended mix. But some stuff came out in represses later on. But this is, a great set from the UK, which has all of it, and especially if you don't particularly feel you need the instrumentals. This does it all. And it's kind of a cool double picture cover thing with the different colors. Really solid 12-inch. Sound quality is great. Love this. Thanks, you guys, for hooking me up with this. So not only can I tell you guys this, but now I have it in my collection, because I didn't even own this. I actually just got this. Thanks to one of you guys. So thank you very much. Really appreciate it. In my collection, I got to share it with all you guys. Thanks again. Thank all you guys for watching. And stay tuned for my next video, which, if it's what I'm planning to be, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be long. You might look at the beginning of it and be like, I don't like these records, I'm going to turn this off. But stick with it. It's going to blow your mind. I got this awesome one set up. If it takes me a little while, I might do another little mini video in between, just to fill the time gap. But I definitely got an awesome video coming up. And I got an interview coming up. It's going to be great. So thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Peace out.